Hello, my name is Bill Miller, and I'm the host of NPR's All Things Considered. Today, we're with my friend Bob Kern. Bob has been an educator for over 40 years, most recently as the principal of Easton High School back in the early 90s. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So I wanted to start with the state of education since you retired in the early 90s. How have students changed in that time?
Well, I think students have gotten much brighter. I think that they're more involved. I think that they're more interested in what's going on in the world, and they're doing things to make changes, which I think the students before them just ignored and played games in college and had a good time. But I think the students today are more involved. Of course, there are some changes that are drastically. The dress code is a little different than it was back then. And we were talking about that before. I went to a Catholic college, King's College in Wilkes-Barre, and this is the way I dressed to go to class. I had to wear a coat and a tie all the time, and there was just no exceptions. And of course, we were wishing that we could look like you. We could dress casually and come to class, but it never happened. So I think there's basically the difference, that the young people today, they're more aware of their environment and they're more involved in what's going on.
And how about charter schools? That seems to be a development in recent years. How do you
Well,
feel about that?
I'm not a big advocate of charter schools, mainly because they steal so much money from the public schools. I don't know if you're aware of this, but a public school has say the school district that I was involved in, 46% of the budget goes for salaries and benefits. Then we have to give money to the special ed schools. Then we have to give money to the vocational schools. Then we have to give money to the library. Then we have to give money to the community colleges. And now the charter schools come in, and you know, the parents that send their children to charter school, they don't pay a penny. We have to pay for each student like $1,600, $1,700 to send a child to a starting school. Then they want to build a building, and they want us to pay for that. So really, it's very difficult to fund your school district today. Plus, in athletics, they can attract any student they want. That's why they're so good in the state championships in basketball. They win mainly all the state championships, because in Philadelphia, all the great basketball players go to one charter school, all the football players go to another charter school. And in public school, we don't think that's fair.
And how about homeschooling? What are your opinions on homeschooling?
Well, I have a mixed bag on homeschooling. I think homeschooling's fine till we get to a point. If you're interested in biology or chemistry or calculus, if you have a parent that's home that's able to teach you that. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, they have a television program and they learn that. And it all depends on the type of parent that's helping you teach your child that. And I was sitting here listening to the young man that's in ROTC, and he's talking about budgeting his time. He has it down by hour. If you're teaching your child in charter school, in homeschooling, you have to have a rigid schedule that your child follows that pattern. And I don't know if they're able to do that.
Bob, you were a principal at Easton Public School, but you were also recommending that students go to Catholic school. How did that go over? And tell me a little bit about why that was the case.
Well, that didn't go over too well, because my children went to the Catholic school also. And you got to remember, though, I'm a product of a very strict Catholic upbringing, 7 in the family, and we went to confession every Saturday, and we went to church every Sunday, and my mother and father, they were very strict. And I think Catholic school is not for everyone, but I think if a child wants to learn more about their religion and they want to become involved more, I think the Catholic school gives them a better opportunity to participate in the activities. Example, my daughter wanted to be a cheerleader, and she wanted to go to Catholic school because there was less girls, and she'd have a better chance of becoming a cheerleader. So that's one reason why they went to Catholic schools.
Bob, last question. You were the principal of Easton High School, but you live in Phillipsburg. Who do you root for on Thanksgiving Day?
Not a question. Easton. I bleed red and white. I think it's one of the finest high schools in the state of Pennsylvania. There's 512 high schools. And I always thought that Easton had a great football team, and there was a wrestler being interviewed too.
Yeah.
We have a great wrestling program too in Easton.
So that's all we have time for today, because Bob and I are going to lunch at the Coopersburg Diner. You're all welcome to join us if you're interested. Thank you. Talk to you next week.
Bye now.
Nice job.
You too.